Hello, my name is Tabitha Davies. I am a certified professional dog trainer, an associate certified dog behavior consultant, and I will leave the rest to you to investigate on our website. I am the co-owner and the trainer and behavior consultant for All Bay Canines here in the Palm Springs, California area. I wanted to introduce myself to those of you who have not met me yet. And dispel a couple of myths that I see going around, especially this week. It is a very common misconception that evidence-based trainers, credentialed professionals, the professional trainers that you are hopefully wanting to work with, are in direct competition to each other. There is no one trainer fits all thing. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses and the things that we really enjoy doing and the stuff that we don't. For things that I am not skilled in, such as nose work, that's going to go to Jamie Bosey of Smart Dog, who's also a credentialed dog behavior consultant. If somebody wants to do a board and train and I don't have availability, that's your girl. If somebody wants to work on hours that I can't go to, and you're dealing with behavior problems, Jamie is amazing. Anytime that I have open communication with someone, I'm also letting them know who their other options are for evidence-based professionals in our area. And I do this for one of two reasons. The first one, that there should be complete transparency between colleagues. This is people that I work with. These are people that I trust, that I know, who know what they're doing. And so that person, that potential client, knows who their options are, because I would like to think of myself as pretty easy to work with, but I'm not going to be the right trainer for everyone. There's personality differences between people, and there's just, schedule conflicts, or there's things that people feel more comfortable with. All of those things need to be taken into account. Sarah Barsky of Liberation Dog Training is fantastic. She's working on her CPDT-KA credential. She's taking the next test. And she does like a ton of integration of rescue dogs into their homes, as well as babies. She has kids, I have kids, but she really enjoys helping people prepare for babies and helping people after they've had their babies work through things. In addition to that, we also have Tani Sewell, who runs for Buddies Training and Pet Sitting. And she was one of my mentees, and I absolutely adore her. She loves the dogs that she works with, and I've never had a client who she's taken care of their pets that hasn't been happy. She does training, group classes, and privates, and she does pet sitting as well. She does dog walking too, I believe. And there's also Walks with Robin Espinosa. I'm not sure if I could mention the other organization she works for or not, so I'm just going to leave that blank. But she does have a job, a pretty important job, actually, working with dogs in our valley. And she also does dog training, and she also owns 2 reactive dogs. And she's worked with Jamie before Jamie moved into our area, before we were lucky enough for Jamie to move into our area. And then we have Brooke Fagel of Palm Springs Dog Training. Basic obedience tricks. I mean, that girl's got it going on. We have a pretty decent amount of educated professionals out here. We have Janet Litton of Lottie Dog, and she does a lot of pet sitting as well. We're not in direct competition. We work together. And I think it's really important for people to know when they're going out there and they're looking for a training or behavior professional for their dog, that they're going to someone who can say, this is not my specialty, but here is who you want to call. I will refer out to other trainers if somebody calls me and says, hey, this is what I'm looking for, and I either don't have that class coming up, or it's not something that I'm teaching because it's just not my thing. I will refer them out. I will tell them where they can go to obtain that training they want. Oh, I can't forget my herding class trainer, Dana Rochette, out in Cherry Valley. Amazing. She was on this last season of Top Dog, and she's patient. She's super, her teaching style is it's super awesome. And I really like being her student. So if you want to do herding classes, that's where you go. Being able to have referrals, being able to know that you're sending a client or a potential client on the route to a competent, educated, credentialed, insured professional is a really big deal. We're not out to try to there are so many people in our area who have pets who will need help. We're not in a position where we're like, I have to be the biggest and the best. That's not the reality of how this industry works. And we are a very unregulated industry. So you can wake up one day and decide, I'm a dog trainer. You can have no formal education or experience. You can be using really outdated methods and taking clients' money, offering guarantees that's just a red flag. Don't ever go for that. And people hear what they need to hear while they're dealing with a lot. And so there are a lot of predatory acts marketing wise that people engage in. I'm not going to get too much into the topic. We already have a 45-minute long how to find a professional and weed your way through the marketing stuff on our YouTube channel. If you want to go through that, it's pretty intense education, but can really help you when you're finding a professional. So if you're not local to our area, I highly suggest watching it. But knowing when to say, I need to talk to colleagues, or knowing when to say, this is not what we're actually working with. This is out of my field of expertise. I'm going to stay in my lane and I'm going to refer you out is a big deal. Collaborations with certified applied animal behaviorists or veterinary behaviorists and the behavior side of things is not uncommon. Same with veterinarians. We tend to work as a multifaceted team, not as an individual person. We work as a team to help make sure that the owner is getting the support and resources that they need, the behavior changes being affected in the animal, and they're also getting their needs met. I really encourage you to understand a little better that things that seem good, or, even with me, if you're calling and you're looking at training with me, I want questions. I want you to ask what my experience is. I want you to ask what my credentials are and verify them. I want you to ask things like, what happens if my dog doesn't get something right? I want you to ask things like, how long are your sessions for? I want you to ask these questions because the answers are going to help you understand whether or not this is an appropriate person to work with your dog, or if it's somebody who's going to potentially have fallout or cause more problems down the road. It's very hard for me as a professional, knowing how unregulated our industry is and that I've obtained the credentials that I have, and I've had to work very hard for them, to see people when I'm their third or fourth call, to have them come to the realization of why things are the way they are, and that it was their actions because they were doing what they thought was best for their dog, that caused more problems. It's never something that you want to see. It's very difficult, and it is something that weighs heavy on an owner's mind, whether they still have that dog 14 years from now, or if it's been 20 years since their dog, passed away. So this is me. I have a farm filled with rescue animals. I have my dogs. I have my amazing kids. And life here is definitely constantly going. We have a shelter to service dog program that we've had since 2013, which I'm very proud of. And community outreach, and we need more dog trainers, and we need more credentialed behavior consultants in the world. It's not just in our valley; it supersedes that. So, if you are interested in becoming a trainer or a dog behavior consultant, I highly suggest you take a look at it. Ask me any questions that you might have on that topic, or ask any of the other lovely people that I've already listed, because they are all plethoras of useful information, and have really, really, really wonderful personalities. So they're really good at what they do, and they are just very good people in general. So that's a little bit about us and what I think should be important, since those are things that are often brought up with some misinformation involved. And enjoy your evening.